German police have shot dead a man who had opened fire near the Israeli Consulate in Munich. Social media appear to show the man carrying a rifle and aiming shots at a Nazi documentation museum. Police say they exchanged fire with the suspect, an 18-year-old Austrian. No other people were involved. Police later noted that today is the anniversary of the 1972 Munich Olympics terror attacks, in which 11 Israeli team members were killed.
The area around Karolinenplatz in central Munich cordoned off, with a heavy police presence. After a gunman opened fire here this morning, the sound captured by a nearby resident, close to the Israeli Consulate and a documentation museum of Nazi history. Jewish institutions and places of worship in Germany are given police protection against possible anti-Semitic attacks, so the officers present were able to act quickly to neutralize the gunman.
At around 9 a.m., a person was sighted here with a long-barreled weapon. Police were alerted. There was an exchange of fire with the person, during which the person died. About the shooter's weapon, we know it was an old model, long repeating weapon. About the motive, we cannot say anything now. That will be part of the investigation. It is obviously a sensitive date, and the buildings here were under guard, and the guards were the first who had contact with the suspect.
The shooting happened on the anniversary of a terrorist attack by Palestinian militants on the Israeli Olympic team during the 1972 Olympics in Munich. Police say it's not yet known if the date is linked to a possible motive for the shooter. Germany's Interior Minister denounced the shooting.
The protection of Jewish and Israeli institutions has top priority. It is, of course, very bitter that it took place in front of the National Socialism Documentation Centre and the Israeli Consulate of all places.
A major operation is still underway as the investigation into the suspect and possible motive continues.
Meanwhile, the Bavarian state premier Markus Söder has offered a security guarantee for the Jewish community.
The protection of Jewish monuments is of central importance. Today raises bad memories, as it is the anniversary of the attack at the Olympic Games in 1972. And a connection is possible. That must be explored. But it is clear that Jewish monuments will be especially protected in Bavaria with the highest level of security. Today shows that it is working, and we renew our commitment to security, a security guarantee for Jewish citizens, for Jewish monuments, Israeli monuments. With determination, we will fight, confront and defeat every attack.
Stefan Bachenheimer is a journalist and he is in Munich at the scene. Stefan, what more can you tell us?
Yeah, the Israeli Consulate General and the crime scene are about 100 yards here behind me. A hearse with the body of the dead gunman left at about 3:15, pretty much exactly 6 hours after this attack happened. What unfolded is something that thankfully to the stepped-up protection of Israeli institutions did not yield a more dramatic result. The gunman is dead, but it didn't happen anything else to anybody else. What unfolded was that police spotted this gunman shortly after 9 here with a long rifle, old-style rifle. And mind you, the Israeli Consulate General today, fortunately, was closed, because it's the anniversary of the attack by Palestinian terrorists on the Olympics in 1972 in Munich. That's why they had closed the Consulate General today. Nevertheless, police spotted this man with a gun, followed him. He started to fire onto the police and then police responded. Apparently more than 20 or 30 shots were even fired, and the gunman then dead. And as you mentioned already earlier, the head of police here in Munich said the gunman is an Austrian resident, at least, and had come by car. Crime scene investigation here is still going on. The area is cordoned off. There's also a heightened police presence in Munich, but there is now basically the message to Munich citizens that the threat is over.
Now, briefly, what about the timing of this incident?
Well, as Bavarian Premier Markus Söder earlier said, there is a suspicion that this might be a very dark motive of anti-Semitism, after all, because this was in front of the Israeli Consulate General. There's the Nazi documentation center around the corner, and it is unlikely that somebody runs around here with a gun and fires on police just in the vicinity of these locations without a particular motive such as anti-Semitism. But motives are unconfirmed by police, and there's still the news to be awaited, what police finally will find on the cell phone of the attacker, etc.
The journalist Stefan Bachenheimer there at the scene of that shootout in Munich. And now let's cross over to DW security correspondent Thomas Sparrow. Thomas, Germany is taking this extremely seriously. Tell us more about the reaction.
And it's taking it extremely seriously, essentially, because this is indeed extremely serious. We have had reaction coming from several leading German politicians, including German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier, who is Germany's head of state, stressing that he is in touch with his Israeli counterpart. And it is extremely serious and extremely challenging because it comes at a very difficult time for Germany, at a time when the country is already on high alert for several security incidents in recent weeks, in recent months, the latest of which was a terror attack in the western German city of Solingen. So the fact that we're talking here of another security incident, although we still don't know about the motivation, there are still many question marks about the attacker and his motivations, it is still something that is very serious indeed, hence the reaction that we have seen from leading German politicians.
Now, is the current security strategy to protect Jewish institutions and places of worship enough to handle the growing threat?
You heard from Markus Söder, the Bavarian leader, talking about a security guarantee for Jewish institutions. And what is clear here in Germany is that it is of vital importance to protect Jewish institutions. It is something that has been very important for a long time now. It was also important, for example, under previous German chancellors. But it has a new component, if you will, in recent months, because the tensions in the Middle East have posed considerable security challenges here in Germany, especially for Jewish institutions. This is something that German authorities from the German Interior Ministry or German intelligence agencies have repeatedly stressed. So even though protecting Jewish institutions with police presence, with financial means, with other means, has been important for a very long time, there is an added element right now here in Germany.
Now, today, of course, is the anniversary of the terrorist attack by Palestinian militants on the Israeli Olympic team during the 72 Olympics in Munich. So what are the ramifications if the timing of this attack was intentional and related to that incident?
It is still an if, as you point out in your question. Several authorities in Munich, several authorities also at the federal level, have been very cautious about talking about possible motivations, simply because there is still a lot that needs to be discovered, a lot that needs to be uncovered. But what is important is that the vital question in these kinds of situations is to try and find out the motivation. So that's why authorities have stressed that they are still trying to find evidence, that they're looking, for example, at the alleged suspect or the shooter's car, that they are discussing other kinds of information, also, for example, with their Austrian counterparts, in order essentially to find out what the motivation was. Once you know the motivation, you can know the political response. And that's what's going to happen probably in the next few days once authorities reveal more here in Germany.
DW security correspondent Thomas Sparrow there. Thank you very much, Thomas.